Okay, well, welcome to our chamber chat. I am Danielle Gahn with the Birch Bay Chamber of Commerce. I'm the executive director here. We'll do a little round table here. And Dorley, do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, you're muted. There we go.
Dorley Booth, Director of the Chamber and Secretary and County Liaison.
Thank you. And Sasha?
Sasha Sanguinetti, Event Coordinator at the Chamber.
Perfect. And then our special guest today is Jason Van der Veen. He's the fire chief with North Whatcom Fire and Rescue. And he's here to talk to us about a levee.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Got a couple more people popping on here, and you can go ahead and share your screen there, Jason, anytime.
Okay. I thought I was good. I'm getting better.
It's okay.
I just bragged you up, Jason. Come on. There we go.
Okay. Are you guys looking at a PowerPoint presentation there?
Yep, we got it.
Great. Okay. So once again, I want to thank you for having me here today. My name is Jason Van der Veen. I'm the Fire District 21, also known as North Whatcom Fire and Rescue Fire Chief. I've been with North Whatcom since 2007. I came from the city of Linden, where I was a paid firefighter before that. And I've worked my way up the ranks, and I was appointed the chief in April of 2020. So right kind of at the height of Corona, or the beginning of coronavirus, I would say. I've really enjoyed my time with the district, and it's been an interesting ride for sure. Let me see. I am okay. So what I'm here to talk about today is the commissioners from District 21 have put a levee lid lift on the ballot for August 3rd of 2021. North Whatcom's at a critical junction, and Proposition 2021-3 is about funding our future. We've not asked our voters for a levy rate increase in the last 12 years. And to be really honest, that's far too long. In each of those 12 years, our tax revenue has gone up just 1% plus the value of new construction. So that rate it's not even close to keeping up with annual increase of costs that we provide and the costs that we have. Since our call volume has gone up 50% in that same time period, we're dealing with increased call volume, and then just like any employer, we have the employment costs, labor costs, things like that, and unfortunately, this just isn't sustainable with our current revenues. We just can't maintain current services like we like to as our population and community start to grow. And a lot of that growth comes in the Birch Bay and Blaine area. As you know, if you've left your house in the last year, you know that our area is just getting bigger and bigger. We also need, firefighting and emergency response takes tools, and one big tool that we have is our vehicles. And most of our vehicles, our engines, our ladder trucks, and our tenders are long since past the date we'd hope to retire them. They just get, just like your car, they get worn out. We also need to be able to, because of growth in the community, which is good. Growth is wonderful and it's great. It's great to see our community grow, and unfortunately, more people discover how beautiful our area is. They want to move here. That means the number of incidents we respond to goes up. And more frequently, we're having concurrent calls, whether it's in the Birch Bay area or Blaine and Birch Bay. About 35 to 40% of the time, we're seeing concurrent responses and typically it's medical aid calls. That's about 80% of what we do. And those, if we're transporting to St. Joseph's, that's a trip. It's a good, from the time of call to the time that they get back in service, it's a good hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes for the crews. And that means that either we're borrowing a unit from Whatcom County Fire District 7 or from the Ferndale area or Linden, or we've got another unit coming from the Laurel area, which that's a long drive. That's even even lights and sirens, it's a long drive. So just due to our large territory, we need to be able to improve that level of service. We also need to, we need and want to improve our ability to manage complex incidents. A great example is the train derailment that we had in December. We have these large, really, like I said, complex incidents, and these are things we need to be able to manage. And we need to have, in the end, we need to have working capital to pay for predictable expenses in a financially sound and sustainable way. So the board diligently researched and crafted this proposed fire levy that we're putting before the voters on August 3rd to address these goals and our long-term financial future. Here's some quick information about North Whatcom. It's formed as a fire district under state law. It's a separate unit of government, separate from the county. So we're our own taxing authority, although we're a junior taxing authority. And we rely on property taxes to pay for our services. We have a really large service territory, 156 square miles. We covering unincorporated Whatcom County north of Bellingham to the Canadian border. Includes the city of Blaine, the communities of Birch Bay, Semiahmoo, Custer, Delta, Northwood, Weiser Lake, and Laurel. The city of Linden is not part of the district. It's what I call the pink hole in the donut there you see in the middle of that big field of green. So that big field of green is District 21. That's all the area covered by District 21. Our people are really our greatest asset, our strength, right? We have 77 personnel. It's a mixture of full-time firefighters, staff, and a really dedicated core group of volunteers. We have 3 stations. We have one in Blaine, one in Birch Bay, and one in Laurel. The demand for our services continues to go up. In 2019, we responded to 3,900, almost 4,000 calls. That's a 65% call increase since 2011, which is, it just keeps going up. And like I said, a lot of these are concurrent alarms. We do have a partnership, a 10-year partnership with District 4, which if you look at the map here, it's the orange kind of tail on the dragon there that District 21 is down by Lake Whatcom. We provide staffing to them in exchange for payment for our services. So it's under a contractual basis. The reason I bring up District 4 is that District 4 and several other Whatcom County fire districts, namely South Whatcom Fire Authority, which is neighbors Bellingham, as well as Fire District 1, which is directly, they're the purple district right to the east of us, are asking their voters for levee lid lifts on the August ballot. All of us, every district that's asking is within 5 cents of each other. So this number that we're asking for is not strange or not just thought up, oh, this would be a neat number. There was a lot of research done, and it was very interesting that all of those districts came within kind of roughly, like I said, 5 cents of each other. Helped us to know that our research was done correctly. We are exploring the opportunity of forming a regional fire authority with District 4, which would be it would end the duplication that we have of running 2 fire districts administratively. So it's looking to streamline just the administrative side of running 2 fire districts. That won't be on the ballot till 2022 when it comes up, but that is in the works, and people may have heard about it. So how do we get our funding? Like I said before, property taxes, it's based on the assessed value of buildings and land. In 2006, North Whatcom voters approved a fire levy of $1.50 per 1,000. That's the maximum allowed by state law. As time goes by, the levy rate drops as property values increase, and because of the effects of I-747, which was voted in probably 15, 20 years ago, a lid of 1% max increase stays in place. So because of that slide down of because of the way that the increase of assessed valuation drops our levy rate, we're now collecting $1.15 per thousand in assessed value. If the approved ballot measure, if approved, this ballot measure would raise that collection rate to $1.45 per thousand. We believe this funding increase will stabilize our finances and operations for the next 6 years and meet the goals that I shared earlier. It doesn't address aging fire stations, but it pays for all staff, all our dedicated staff, it replaces aging vehicles and equipment, and allows us to do some service level improvements. It's also important to understand that this levy does not impact the countywide EMS levy, which funds advanced life support for Whatcom Medic 1. So it doesn't do anything with that. So we have really strained our ability to maintain services with the current revenues. So we've gone 12 years without a tax increase since we've even asked for a tax increase, and it's been 13 since one was actually approved. So that last one we asked for was not approved. Our staff, our firefighters themselves have agreed in multiple years in our recent past to forego any kind of raise. So they've negotiated zeros, as well as there was a year where the chief had decided the only way to balance the budget was to lay off firefighters. So reduce the number of firefighters, and the union, everybody got together and voted themselves a pay decrease in order to keep those firefighters on staff. So the district, the employees of the district have done everything they can to stretch this out as long as we can. They're dedicated. They love helping people, even to the point of like kind of their own. They voted as a group to take a financial hit to keep the community safe, to keep the number of firefighters in the stations on the road going to calls. But we like I said, we've asked our employees to do everything we can. Our vehicles and equipment are in need of replacement. Our current fleet was replaced or was purchased 10 years ago. And we have, just because of the way the economy's run, we have not had a good solid plan in place to replace these vehicles. And when we're talking about replacing a fire engine, we're talking $600,000, $650,000. It's an expensive purchase. But with this levy, it funds the replacement of all of our vehicles. We've sat down and really looked at how can we do this responsibly, not go back to the voters and ask for more money for vehicles or any of these large capital items. And this levy rate, this $1.45 would fund that. And it does it in a phased manner so that we're responsibly, we're stepping things out so that it's in a responsible replacement schedule. And so it's clear that it's clear to us that our current service levels can't be maintained with existing funding. We'd have to do something different. So the board unanimously voted to place the $1.45 ballot measure in front of the voters. They believe this will address the known financial and operational challenges we see before us. What is a levy lid lift? In short, it's a voter-approved increase in the property tax rate beyond what we can otherwise collect. We can't collect more than the public allows us to collect, so we're asking them to approve the increase. 2001, there was IS 747. This vote would be approved by a simple majority, so 1% or 50 plus 1 is what can approve the ballot measure. And it does authorize that taxes would be collected at a higher rate. Let's see here. So I'll try to burn through this one really quick. This is our explanatory statement. It can be found on our website, nwfrs.com, as well as at the county elections website. We'll have an explanatory statement. This is what the commissioners chose to put on the ballot. This is what will be in front of the ballot, in front of the voters on election day. So if voters approve the measures, this is how we're going to apply the funds. We're going to maintain our service levels as the community grows. We're going to add 4 battalion chiefs to help us better manage complex fire incidents, such as things like the train derailment. Battalion chiefs are commonly found in professional fire departments, and we have not been able to do this due to staff. We have not been able to fund this staffing to date. These are our data. These would be the day-to-day 24-hour on duty road supervisors. So they would keep, currently the chiefs, we do that from home nights and the weekends. And this would be somebody that would be on the road, and it's just a faster operational oversight. This second point is the one that I'm most excited about. We will hire staff to operate an ambulance during peak hours when we get the most calls for service. Those hours have been identified by a third party as 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That makes it really simple. This will improve our ability to respond timely to multiple EMS calls during those hours. This unit will be stationed in Semiahmoo at the station on Semiahmoo Parkway. So it's smack dab in the middle of our heaviest populated area of the district. And it would really help with those concurrent calls that we have in the Blaine, Birch Bay, Semiahmoo area. Finally, it would also, we'd use the funding to retire our aged out fire trucks and other vehicles and bring our fleet up to the level it needs to be to continue to reliably service the community. And I just want to also note that I-747 kicks right back in immediately. So in the levy rate will continue to decline from the day it's voted in. So it's voted in, it's $1.45 the first year, and then kind of tapers off after that. So going forward, our goal is to have a more regular schedule of asking the voters for a more incremental levy lid lift for stability and consistency. So not come with these larger asks, but to be a nickel or a dime, as opposed to going from $1.15 to $1.45. We recognize that's a big ask. And the most important question to most people watching this is going to be, how will this impact me? It depends what the county assessor says your property's worth. So your home and your land. This value is usually well below what you could sell your property for, and but you can find your valuation on the county's website, as well as you get it with your property tax statement. Here's a couple examples of property valued at both $400,000 and $600,000. And you can see the increase in red a month if the levy lid lift were in place. As all the standard exemptions would apply to the property tax levy. So, senior citizens or low-income seniors, disabled individuals exempt, as well as, religious institutions, senior housing, those kind of things would all the regular exemptions would apply. And for more details and eligibility, you should contact the county assessor's office. They have the good information on this. This is a decision of the voters. The North Whatcom Board of Commissioners, the elected officials, have proposed and placed it on the August 3rd ballot, and you will decide. The voters will decide. It doesn't require approval of a yes vote of 50% plus one of all those in the district who vote in that primary election. If the levy lid lift is not approved, our plan is to go back to the voters again in November for the exact same amount. We just need to redouble our education efforts. If it fails, it's because we didn't inform the people right. The board is very much in favor of not. This is what we need to do. We spent exhaustive research. We had independent third party people come in and look at our finances and tell us this is how to get to where you need to go. So we are focused on informing you why we're asking for this revenue increase, and frankly, we don't have a detailed plan of how we would respond without it. We're at that point where we need we need our public to help us. We help you guys. We love to do it. It's in our hearts. I mean, it sounds trite, but these, the badges they're pinned to our shirts, but they're really pinned to our hearts. We love what we do. We love helping people, but we need the public's help. If they feel so inclined. Here's the schedule really quick, just between now and the auction, or excuse me, the election. So ballots will be mailed out on July 14th. July 26th is online and mail-in registration deadlines. And then primary day is August 3rd. I want to remind everybody that we have a ballot drop at Station 63 on Birch Bay Linden Road. Very convenient place for people to drop their ballots. Thank you very much for your time. I hope I didn't go over too much or mess up your schedule, but here's a couple resources if people are looking for more information. That phone number right there, ask to speak to Jason, and I will, if you have questions, I am happy to answer any and all questions about this, and we'll do my very best to meet the needs of our citizens. So once again, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thanks.
Thank you, Jason. That was great information and really informative. So thank you for letting us share that for you. Does anybody have any questions for Jason?
Yes.
Dorley. Kathy.
You raised your hand. That's not fair.
I have a list here
Okay.
that I think might be interesting to all of us. Number one, there was a fire recently at Baycrest, and I think it was a propane tank or something that exploded and caught outside and caught the house on fire.
Yes.
Now, when in reading about that, everybody came from every which direction.
Yes.
And I was wondering, is that because you guys were busy, or is that just what normally would happen?
That is becoming more normally what happens because of the number of people that it takes to fight a structure fire. The physicality involved in it, and we have mandates and regulations that we have to follow, as much as how many bottles of air you can breathe, and we need people in place for our own safety. We have the firefighters that are actually fighting the fire, and then we have other firefighters that are prepared to rescue firefighters if they get in trouble. So it's very much a collaborative effort here in the county. So you will see that you saw units from Fire District 7, you saw units from the city of
Linden
Linden.
too. Yeah.
Yep. We help each other out. The walls are, I like to say, the walls are going down. We're not kingdom building anymore. We're realizing that we have a resource that we need to share across borders when needed.
Yeah. Well, I was worried. I was hoping that you guys weren't all out on other things and had to call for that reason.
Well, it is interesting that Station 63 did show up in their aid car because they were getting back from a transport in Bellingham, or they were transporting someone to Bellingham. So the first engine there was from Fire District 7. The second engine was the Blaine engine from Station 61 in Blaine. And the Birch Bay engine never showed up because they were on I-5 when the call came in.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, so this is interesting for the public to know. I think you can't be everywhere. When these kinds of things, incidents happen. Next question. We're going to have 145 new homes come in on Blaine Road at Whisper Lake.
Mhm.
And what that will make a impact in both ways on you guys, right? I mean, you'll get more funds as they come in, and I don't know about concurrency or mitigation funds for them now, and if that works at all, but you'll also have, I don't know what 145 homes does to a fire station. I have some sense what it does to a school district, because my husband and I are out of the school systems, and 145 homes are impacting to a school, especially mid-level homes where families are going to come in. So this will impact you now, and this is right around the corner.
It is. And, honestly, Dorley, I don't have the number, what number of homes causes what percentage of 911 calls. But one thing that I do know that's interesting, and is that it takes 2 years for a new construction to end up on the tax rolls. So really the first 2 years that those homes are there, and, you know, of course, people will access 911, which is perfectly fine. There's a 2-year lag in getting them on the tax rolls. So
Wow, that's interesting.
it does impact, you know, and certain things like mitigation help, but it is impactful.
Yeah, well, I just talked to the developer, I think it was yesterday. They're all ready to go. They've got the groundwork done, and they're just waiting on the county to get the plat work done, which seems incredible to me because they've been waiting so, you know, they've had so long, but I don't know what's going on there, but they're ready to go. So we should maybe see some sticks going up here as soon as the county gets their deal done. So it's happening.
And it's happening, and you saw the size of our district. It's happening all over our district. We've got neighborhoods going in off Weiser Lake Road. We've got neighborhoods going in off Guide Meridian, off of King Tut Road. You know, they're in you know, north of Badger Road. There's little communities coming up everywhere, and so you can imagine what that does. You know,
Yeah.
all over, right?
Yeah. Just two more questions. Is BP in the district? And if they are, do you service them? Or I know they have some of their own fire equipment and all, but will they be paying, do they pay the fire district taxes to you?
They
21?
do not. They pay to Fire District 7.
Okay.
Yep, they're within Fire District 7's boundaries.
Great. Then my last question is, who do we get a hold of when we want to put something up on the reader board along Birch Bay Linden Road?
Orly, you can call me.
Because I used to call Henry Hollander, and Henry just got it right up there because, you know, he was into the community. And since then I've called, and I think I called down to 4, and, you know, it never seemed to kind of work its way up. And it's important to our community. For example, we're having a kite festival this weekend, and, you know, people go back and forth, and it would have been really cool to have that up there. It's at, you know, at the library station, or at the library, and all. So Danielle, write that down.
Yep, you guys email me or give me a call. I'm
Okay,
happy
because
to.
the guys at the station are really happy to do it. I've gone in there and knocked on the door and said, hey guys, you know, I don't know who to call now because Henry's gone, and they've helped out, but I just wanted to know what the conduit was.
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. That'll be helpful.
Kathy,
I
you
was
had a
curious,
question?
you mentioned the Semiahmoo station. Is that not regularly staffed then?
It is not staffed. No.
Was it ever regularly staffed?
It had some volunteers at one time years ago,
It's a
but
blue
it's not
moon.
regularly staffed in a long time.
And you said you had 3 stations, and so that means that Enterprise is not staffed either?
No, Enterprise is where our tender group responds out of.
Uh-huh.
That those are our volunteers, and they and that is their station.
Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
And where are you? You're up on
I am
middle of nowhere.
Well, it depends where you live. I'm at station 72, which is basically at Northwood and Badger. So I'm
That's
just
the other
south.
side of the county.
What's that?
That's the other side of the county.
It is the other side of the county. Yep. It takes about 30 minutes to get to Birch Bay. From where I'm at.
Do we have a somebody like Henry at the Birch Bay Fire Station now that we should know about? Is there somebody?
There's not somebody that's out there that's on a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 schedule. No, because of the coronavirus restrictions, we had everybody that Birch Bay Station was everybody was in a bunk room. They were all communal sleeping in a in a bunk room, and with the coronavirus restrictions that we couldn't have that. We needed to kind of spread people out. So there's no administrative staff there. The firefighters have moved into some of the offices so that they can sleep in separate rooms. And it turns out they really like that. They're really not interested in having us back. So, since possession is 9/10 of the law, and it makes them happy, and I'm good with it. So
Well, do you have a lead fire person there? that we could
there's-
get acquainted with?
There's a captain. The captains are there. Yep. One of the captains are there. They're stationed there. And they work a rotating shift. And that's where battalion chiefs would go. If the levy passes, that's where our battalion chiefs will be stationed. Simply because it's Birch Bay is our busiest station. And it's kind of the hub, the operational hub of the district. So
Yeah, you need to make that really clear when you're talking to the Birch Bay gang that you know that Birch Bay Station is the busiest. That'll catch their, I believe, being an elderly person, I believe that catches, people going like, yeah, well, if it's the busiest, we need to be sure we have BLS
yes.
capabilities.
Yep.
I'm also curious too, if the levy passes, how many jobs does that add to our community?
It will add 8 jobs to our community. So 8 family wage,
Mhm.
living wage jobs.
I think that's important, definitely to stress too.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
apologize. I had to step away for a second. So if you've already answered this question, again, my apologies. But you'd mentioned that there's a couple of other districts, Jason, that are asking their constituents for a levy lift as well. Have they asked recently, and what have their results been in other parts of the county?
No, I can't. I don't know. That's a good question that I'll need to find out.
Okay.
That's a good. I don't know what their success rate has been and how long it's been since they've asked their voters.
I'd forgotten that we voted down one. It was you said 2013, the committee or
No, in 2006, the District 13 voters voted yes to go to $1.50. And at the same time, that's when North Whatcom was formed. Fire District 3 and District 13 came together. And then in 2008, the fire district ran a levy to $1.40, and that was voted down by the voters.
Remember that?
yeah, I think we were a little disgruntled about something. I can't even remember what it was.
I'm pretty sure I know what it was. Well, also,
You'll have to remind me one of these days.
I don't think we would need to know again.
well, and also if you look at what year it was 2008. And
Oh,
we asked
yeah.
the voters
Okay.
for that. I
Sure.
mean, that's that right there. more than anything else, I think the fact that it was 2008, and unfortunately we're asking to do it in 2021, which
Yeah.
I can't say is any better.
Yeah.
But the story of us holding on and really trying to use every single resource we have, and the employees giving back, and just to keep people, I'm hoping that resonates with folks, and they see that we've done everything we can, and that they're pleased with our service and want to see it continue.
Jason, you'd mentioned the increase in calls, and obviously a lot of it has to do with the population growing. But did you guys see much of an uptick in calls that you could attribute to the fact that more people were at home in 2020, and there was more things being done around the house?
No, actually, call volume was down in 2020, especially the first half. And I am not making fun of this. It's not tongue in cheek, but people were too terrified to go to the hospital. People did not want to go to the hospital, and they stayed home and they toughed out probably their chronic things. In the latter half of 2020, call volume started to pick up a little bit, but overall, call volumes are down in 2020. We are seeing a definite uptick in 2021. And to be very frank, I am somewhat concerned what 4th of July is going to look like. Everybody's got cabin fever. Everybody wants to get out, and the weather looks like it might actually be good. And I'm.
Are you guys working with the police, the sheriff regarding that July 4th problem?
We are. I don't know this is the right venue, but there's some new mandates on law enforcement that make their interaction with the public a little different than it's ever been. And that's beyond our control. We have nothing to do with that. We're just kind of we're playing catch up like everybody else. So we're doing what we can together, but really July 4th is is an unknown, and I'm hoping that people are safe and responsible. It's going to be a big deal this year. Is personal accountability, unfortunately. But we will be we're going to staff up just like we do every other 4th of July. Note that we're ready. We're ready for whatever happens. We always are. But the July 4th is somewhat concerning because people have been so cooped up, and the berm is beautiful, right?
Yes,
Who
we
does
don't
not want to get out there and
ruin it. No, I know. We're very concerned. I always do a rain dance because I like to have it start raining about 8 o'clock. And I live across from North Cottonwood Beach, and it's scary for the residents. We wet down our roofs. I water the lawns. They shoot from the hill behind us as well as everything going off in front of us, and things go every which direction. And those crazy lanterns that are illegal float back over our homes, and and they're not up high, very high. And so we just live through it barely each year. And I'm concerned this year because I feel like you do, Jason, that they just want to cut loose. And this is not really a safe way to cut loose.
and this may be a great way to get the message out. But if people have neighbors that are Canadians that have not been able to keep up on their property, because of the restrictions at the border, and you feel inclined, mow your neighbor's yard, mow their field, whatever.
We do on both sides. We have
Yeah.
people on both sides. We're keeping their yards. Yeah.
I'm sure they'll give you a big hug or a high five or knuckles or whatever when they can finally come back down. But that would be another important thing is to if you see a neighborhood property that needs a little love, especially in the yard mowing, that would be a great thing to do.
It might be a great idea for us on the Buzz to send out a little blurb in regards to, I don't know whether you'd want to write us up something, Jason, a few little bullet points that neighbors or community take care of, or, have a little blurb like that the week before the 4th.
I did have our fire marshal write something up, and we've got something on the lanterns, the county, the rules on the lanterns. I know that probably people that send them sailing don't spend much time reading about the rules, but we are trying to get some public education about what's legal, what's not.
Yeah, and
what? Fireworks and the safe and sane stuff. So.
I have gone around to the vendors that are selling, and I brought the fire marshal's list of times that they can shoot. And also Kathy and I send out what is legal and what is not legal. And I talked to the vendors saying, if you're selling lanterns, you need to make sure when you hand them out that they need to be tethered. And I think that's the rule, unless it's changed even more, but they have to be tethered if they want to. Yeah. And I remind the vendors every year, we don't want those things sailing over our homes.
Right.
And every 4th of July, they sail from the water to the land. And on January 1st, they go out over the bay, and they're absolutely beautiful. I don't know what that has to do with how the air is going winter and summer, but it's that way every year. And those are scary for us.
Jason, have you gotten any feedback from the people in the community regarding this tax business?
I haven't actually. I haven't heard one way or the other how people, if they even know about it. One of the other. Hopefully, we're coming to the tail end of it, but getting the word out there's no public meetings, there's no community groups meeting physically anymore. So that does make it a little hard, but I welcome any feedback. And once again, that last page of that slide had either go to our website and submit, there's a spot to submit an information request, or give us a call. And please, any feedback is helpful.
Around when the ballots come out, if you'll send me something to put on my list, and maybe you should contact
Yes, we will. And there will be a mailer coming out to all all addresses in the district. We're allowed by law to do one mailer that it will be an informative mailer to people right when it'll be the same, it'll go out the same day the ballots come out. So people should get that at the same time.
I've had a couple people complain that fireworks have already started this summer. It's more of a law enforcement question rather than, but have you had issues this year so far with fireworks?
We have not. And yeah, unfortunately it's more of a county fire. So one of the odd things is Birch Bay falls under the county as far as fire marshal services. And so they have the enforcement authority. North Whatcom does not have enforcement authority in the county, only within the city limits of Blaine.
Okay.
So fortunately we can't do anything with fireworks.
Will you?
Two Band-Aids on your head. I mean, where are they?
Oh, Patrick, can you mute?
Thank you.
Oh,
I don't think he heard.
Do you plan to notify the Northern Light and maybe get something in their papers? Then
Yes.
Great.
There'll be for the Safe and Sane 4th will be coming out, as well as we will be having 2 virtual public meetings in July regarding the levee lid lift, so that I can talk with folks and they'll be able to ask questions, and those details will be coming out in the Northern Light as well, and the Linden Tribune and some of our other local media.
I did plan to start our 4th of July communication in the next issue. So every Wednesday is when our buzz comes out, and I planned to start a section for 4th of July because the questions are starting to ramp up, especially this year regarding it. So if you've got anything you want me to include, just email it to me.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, does anybody else have any other questions? Anything else? I wanted to remind everybody that we've got an exciting weekend here in Birch Bay. We are going to do our first drive-in movie on Friday night up at the water slides. We're going to be showing the Angry Birds movie. Sasha and I were up there last night getting everything set up and making sure that it ran without any flaws. And we got the screen up and ran the movie and got the screen down, and looks good. It should be a lot of fun. So tickets are on sale now. It's only $20 per car. Concessions are stocked. Dorley will be helping sell concessions in the trailer, so that will be a lot of fun. And then Saturday from 11 to 4, we'll be doing our kite days. So kites for kids, free kites from the chamber will be available at the Friends of Birch Bay Library, the Birch Bay Vote Community Library property here on Birch Bay Drive from 11 to 4. Kona Ice will be here until 3 o'clock. We'll have some of our local community members reading stories for children. Parks and Rec has some really fun kids activities, and Friends of Birch Bay Library are doing a hot dog and pop fundraiser, and they'll also have a book sale as well. So lots of fun stuff in Birch Bay. Don't miss out.
She's pretty good at that, huh?
Yeah, she's getting better and better all the time.
Yeah.
I probably talk too fast. I probably need to slow down,
Oh,
but
that was great.
perfect.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It does. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Jason, extra special thanks to you. I appreciate that information, and we'll do our best to help share it out for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, and I hope I didn't overstay my welcome. So.
No, not at all.
Oh, that's great. Thanks.
Thanks,
you.
Jason. Take care.